Now, although motorcycle audio isn't by any means a new thing, what is interesting is that some of the major players have taken notice. The player in question, Kenwood, a trusted brand in mobile audio for decades, has now entered the space with some pretty unique offerings for the motorcycle audio enthusiast. Today, we have their product expert, Marcus Vasconcellos, joining us to give us the breakdown on what Kenwood is offering in the motorcycle audio space. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Kenwood. And it starts now. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and we're talking motorcycle audio with, you guessed it, Kenwood. You know, that brand that you've trusted for so many years, where source units and amps and everything of the like have now entered into the motorcycle audio space. Today, we've got their product expert, Marcus, joining us. Now, Marcus, what can we expect to talk about on today's Connected?
Well, Ben, I'm super excited to be here at CMA, and we're going to talk about how we got into the category. We're going to talk about the way that Kenwood makes a unique product for the motorcycle world. So I'm excited to get into it.
Oh, Marcus, I could feel the excitement in the air. But first, we're going to offer an opportunity to our partner, SiriusXM, for a quick message. And when we come back, we've got Marcus from Kenwood in the studio talking motorcycle audio. Don't you dare go away.
Hi, Paul Truman here with SiriusXM. We reached out to some of our partners in the industry, and here's what they had to say.
I can't say more or enough about just what it means to have our unit working with SiriusXM. It's like we're there now.
The SiriusXM service is something consumers want, right? So it's Paul.
That allows a consumer to listen to either podcasts, entertainment, sports, all at their fingertips. It's all about engagement, and that's what SiriusXM provides.
SiriusXM is a huge component in a vehicle nowadays. Consumers expect that technology to be available both in our OEM system as well as the aftermarket upgrades that they're applying to their vehicle.
Alpine and SiriusXM, through our electronics, are able to offer the consumer on the aftermarket side SiriusXM 360L, which is an expanded platform for SiriusXM. And it's really been a beneficial relationship for us with SiriusXM.
As a dealer, just remember, we don't compete with anybody else. We are absolutely one of the best profitability accessories you can add to any head unit that is SiriusXM ready.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Now, Marcus, it took some time for some of the bigger players, such as Kenwood, to notice motorcycle audio, to implement themselves. But here we are. I remember when Kenwood launched this product. I'd be curious to hear a little bit about that journey of how Kenwood got themselves into the motorcycle audio category.
Well, Ben, it's a long and interesting story, but it really starts at about 2019 with the introduction of the STZ RF200WD, where we started to travel around the United States to various motorcycle rallies. We hit all the big boys. We hit Sturgis, Daytona, all the ones that matter to the motorcycle community, to find out what they would think works best on their bikes. And of course, with all that time spent, we did a lot of research, and then we went back and designed our product.
Marcus, if there's anything I've learned about niche sectors such as motorcycle audio, is that the culture and understanding that lifestyle is pretty much paramount if you want to succeed. So talk to us a little bit about Kenwood's commitment to the community of that motorcycle audio lifestyle.
Well, Ben, one of the things we do different to commit to that community is that we want to design a product that's reliable and something that they can buy and trust and tell their friends that this is going to be a good system for their bikes. We certainly don't want anybody having a bad taste in their mouth when they upgrade their audio system and end up with problems. So we engineered our system around that idea.
As a longtime audio enthusiast, Marcus, I'm very appreciative when a brand as big as Kenwood decides to commit to such a niche market. But let's start with the offering. So what was the strategy going in? Obviously, there's a lot of brands already within this space. What is the offering right now, and what was the strategy moving forward to supply product within this range?
Well, our strategy was a little different. We approached it in a package format where we can offer something to the buyer that they could build a system as they go. Even more so, we allow them to purchase and pick and choose the parts and pieces from our setup, our product line, and build an a la carte setup. So if they don't have the money to go full Monty like they may want to, they can start small and stop when they feel like they have enough, or add and add until they have all the sound they want.
Well, I, for one, think that that is a very sound strategy and definitely offers a lot of options for not only the consumer, but also for dealers because an application and a la carte setup makes it very flexible for any scenario. So, speaking of the products, let's get into a little bit about the application. So, what exactly are we talking about when it comes to fitment and application as far as platforms for this product?
Well, Ben, we have the luxury of being in the motorcycle market. And the great thing about these applications is there's really only two bikes to worry about. You have your Street Glide and your Road Glide, and you have your first generation from 98 to 2013. And then from there, it goes from 2014 to current. So, really, when it comes to bikes to choose from, there's not a whole lot to get confused with. It's very simple, very straightforward, and everything is fit to those two styles of bikes.
All right. So now that we've established the platforms for which these products will fit into, let's talk specifically about probably one of the most popular modifications, probably the one with the most ROI, to be honest, and that is the cut-in kit. So talk to us a little bit about the design and what makes the Kenwood cut-in kit a little bit different from what may be out there presently.
Well, that's a good point, Ben. And the thing I like the most, the kind of the key point of the Cut 14 kit, is the template itself. You know, it's designed to fit the lid perfectly. It secures with three screws to make sure it doesn't shift while you're cutting. And the way that it has a front ledge that covers the edge of the bag is just genius to make sure that you don't accidentally mar or scratch your perfectly painted bike. And then incorporated into the design, we've also added drainage so that when the bike is sitting overnight outside, the speakers actually allow water to run off and out the front of the bag and not leak into the insides of the bag, destroying all the contents. So they are pretty unique in the industry that they're also aimed towards the rider. They're actually canted inward to give that rider staging.
I think those little details, Marcus, is really what is demonstrating, the term when you say engineered for Harley. I'd like for you to expand a little bit about that when it comes to the detail and the length of which Kenwood is committed to really engineering these parts specifically to fit these Harley Davidson motorcycles.
Well, I think the main point of being engineered for the bike is that we didn't take a marine motorsports amp or a car audio amplifier and convert it to fit the Harley Davidson. We, in fact, engineered every component from the ground up. So when it comes to the wiring, we just unplug the factory wiring and plug it right into our amplifier. That amplifier itself uses high level input, so we can even retain the factory radio to power speakers in the setup. So we can run up to 8 speakers using 3 amps in the fairing. And we don't modify or change any hardware on the installation. It is so detailed that you could do it as a novice, never installed on a motorcycle before, or an expert, and find that it's just as easy or to get it done and installed as it should be. It really is designed to fit the bike perfectly.
So one of the obstacles that I hear often from dealers is the OEM integration side of things when it comes to motorcycle. This is not a vehicle, a standard car, for example. We have to deal with the signal. So I'm going to ask you, when it comes to that signal and getting that signal to the amplifier, what solution has Kenwood put in place to facilitate the ease of installation?
Well, the flash is an important factor, and in sometimes it's a hurdle for many of the dealers trying to get into the motorcycle market. Because of the nature of the bike and its design, most of the time when you're adding an amplifier, you're going to have to rectify the factory tune in order to add that amplifier. Thankfully, we thought of that ahead of time, and since we designed this system specifically for Harley Davidsons, we just went ahead and built the tune in the amplifier, so there's no flash required. That also means that the dealer doesn't have that obstacle to entry and have to purchase that flash module. So it makes it a very simple installation to get into if you've never done a Harley Davidson.
I gotta say, Marcus, that is a very unique feature within this space that there's no flash required because the feature is built into the amplifier. I think you guys should take note of that. All right. I'm going to circle back to something you said earlier. You touched on it when it came to the placement of the speakers and the enclosures. This is something that Kenwood takes very seriously when it comes to tuning the sound specifically for the rider experience. Could you get into detail about that?
Yes, Ben. And that exactly is the best part of this system. Because we know the dimensions, the layout, the configuration of the bike itself, every speaker in the setup is designed to fit the enclosure where it belongs. So we have tuned each speaker to maximize sound performance and sound quality, but also to give the rider the best seat in the house.
So at the top of the interview, you were talking about how when Kenwood entered this segment, you wanted to make sure there was an a la carte version as well as a packaged version, or both options for people to choose from. Let's talk a little bit about the optional accessories that Kenwood has also made available to enhance these systems.
Well, commonly on these bikes, a lot of wear and tear goes on when you're riding. So, just like we mentioned, you can purchase the parts a la carte, little things like replacement grills, or if you want to make big changes, you can also do things like our lower pod adapters. And of course, you can buy our parts a la carte. So, if you wanted to use someone else's 6x9, you could even use our Cut 14 kit. So, that's why we supply dealers with all those accessories, again, to build the bike that the customer really wants.
All right, Marcus, we've kind of taken the entire tour of the offering for motorcycle audio when it comes to Kenwood. What final message do you have for those tuning in that really drives that message home that Kenwood is certainly committed to this category?
Well, first, we're a recognizable brand. We know that because when we were at the rallies and the events, not selling motorcycle audio and introducing customers to the Kenwood Motorsports camera, all they ever asked about is when we're going to have stereos. And it's a trusted brand because that's an audience that knows Kenwood. And we also would back that up with a 2-year warranty. So they know that this stuff is going to last when they're going down the road.
That was Marcus Vasconcelos from Kenwood talking with us today about their motorcycle audio gear now available from Kenwood. If you're looking for more information on any of the products covered on today's show, I do encourage you to check out their website for all the specs and details. Now, my takeaway from this is a couple things. Number one, how awesome is it that we finally have a mainstream brand entering and recognizing this very popular growing segment called motorcycle audio? It's a trusted brand. It means we are going places. This is getting some serious recognition as a very, very popular segment. And dealers know because the motorcycle enthusiasts are coming to the shops looking to upgrade their sound systems. More specifically, I love the fact that they've engineered these products so well that they do offer both packaged kits as well as an a la carte system for which to be able to accessorize, upgrade your customer in a scalable kind of way. Add to that the 2-year warranty, and I'm going to tell you, this is definitely a brand worth considering. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.